Hey, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Amy.
Welcome to United Humans, a podcast that goes into the personal lives of our 6,000 plus volunteer medics and their families.
75-year-old male, possible cardiac arrest.
My name is Gavi Friedson.
I'm Dina. This is Ronnie. We're a couple.
I'm Vicky.
United Hatzalah's only mission is saving lives, and we'll discuss how that doesn't leave room for discrimination against color, race, religion, or sexual orientation.
Let's talk about fear, trauma, pain, and connection.
Join us. Let's discuss these diverse volunteers from all across the country. Welcome back to United Humans, the podcast where we go into the 6,200 lives of our medics, each one an individual, each one with their own story. I am so privileged because I know you guys are so busy, especially you, Yonatan, incredibly busy. But in honor of Father's Day, which is this Sunday, thank God, it's so interesting because really there were a bunch of father and sons, you should know. I was surprised how many there were. There are lots. They look surprised.
How many are there?
I can't say the number, but I know that I had to look at the list and try to think. And of course, it jumped out of the page was Yechiel and Yonatan Atkin. But I was like, I wonder if they're going to be able to carve out the time. And they did it! So here we are sitting with Yechiel and Yonatan Atkin from Efrat, father and son duo medics in honor of Father's Day. So first of all, thank you so much for making the time to sit with me today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
This is super exciting. So there's so much I want to talk about, but I also just want to hear some background to give everyone some context. So let's start with Dad. Well, first of all, are you Dad? Are you Abba? Abba, okay.
Abba or Zeta.
Abba or Zeta. Wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
How many? Can I ask how many? Or you don't have to
Thank
give a number.
God,
Baruch Hashem.
we passed the 18 mark.
Wow. Just for the record, he doesn't look old enough. Just wanted to say that. Wow, that's really unbelievable. Okay, so Baruch Hashem. So tell us a little bit of background, where you're from, when you made Aliyah, a little bit of information about your family, whatever you would like to share with us.
Sure. We made Aliyah in 2009 officially. We came to Israel in 2008 as tourists for a trial year. And we survived the year, and we said we're going to actually make it happen and make official Aliyah. We came with 10 children at the time. I think we were the largest family that made Aliyah. I think on Nefesh B'Nefesh. I'm not sure, but could be. And then we had our 11th child here, a Sabra, who is now 12.
That's the minhag.
That's the minhag. We needed a Sabra.
From
Chicago. We came from Chicago. I was born in New York. Came to Israel when I was 2 with my parents. My father was in chinuch. Both my parents were in chinuch. We tried it for 6 years, and being in the chinuch business, unfortunately, Parnas was challenging, so we traveled. My father was a principal, so we went to Houston, Texas, and then to Louisville, Kentucky, and then to Miami, and then I went to Skokie Yeshiva for high school, and that's how I ended up in Chicago, meeting my wife. And
American traveler.
We are world travelers.
Wow.
World travelers. Yeah, thank God.
So how many years were you in Chicago?
We were in Chicago probably about 20. I'm married 33 years. Yeah, 20 years. 20 years. My wife was born and raised there.
Wow.
So.
And what got you to make Aliyah? Was it a lifelong dream? Was it just you woke up one day?
No, I think that as the summers came around when the kids were young, we always wanted to take the kids and let them experience Israel, and so we kept coming back every summer. And then it was always hard to leave. Every time we'd get on that ramp going down, we're like, what are we doing? We need to be going up, the other way. And we just Baruch Hashem. Took me a little while to get the bracha to come from Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky Zatzal.
Wow. About
5-6 times I was shot down.
Really?
Yeah. He did not let me come.
Wow.
He said now wasn't the time. And then finally, it made sense, and I got the permission, and financially was able to do it. So
that's
came to Israel.
Really incredible.
Yeah,
so it's so funny because at the time I didn't have the context of who you were or whatever, but a very close friend of mine told me there's this family. She was like on the Aliyah board or whatever of Efrat. There's this family coming, 10 kids from Chicago. I remember her telling me this. I was like, wow, just that's something. That's a lot of suitcases.
We had about 28 suitcases.
Oh my goodness.
It was crazy.
Wow. What was the age range of the kids?
We had a baby. We had a Dira who was 10 months old, all the way up to our oldest, 18, who was going to Shalavim. So he actually did not make Aliyah with us at the time. And we had a daughter who had skipped her senior year, and she went to Michala early admissions. So that was sort of how we squeezed
that
it in.
work.
Then we had Yonatan, who went to 10th grade.
I was the korban.
He was the korban. But
There's always one.
there was one, but you were not the korban.
Yeah.
So you came. So let's switch over to you. So you were in 10th grade, and did you know that you were going to be making Aliyah? Was it like talked at the kitchen table?
We spoke about it. Yeah, we always spoke about making Aliyah and moving to Israel. I was definitely surprised when it happened.
I think he cried more than was surprised.
Ooh, tell us more about that.
Never cried. So my
he
wife
left his wife back in Chicago.
My girlfriend back then. Yeah.
What? I didn't even know that.
From kindergarten.
Kindergarten. We had pictures from kindergarten together.
You guys
We
have been
actually
boyfriend
have-
and girlfriend since kindergarten?
No,
Pretty
even
much,
crazier.
yes.
We have a picture of my mother holding my wife after she was born in the hospital.
That's
No
right.
way.
Yeah. My parents, my in-laws were very
We're
close
good
friends.
yes.
Are her parents still in Chicago?
They're still in Chicago.
Oh, wow.
They came on our pilot
Shout
trip.
out to Avia.
So actually, they brought my parents on a pilot trip
Right.
to Israel.
No way. I
And
had no
then-
idea.
and
And my parents made Aliyah and they didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, so we have to say, like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
If they're listening to this,
Yeah,
yalla,
man. We'll get them
Every
listen.
year.
it's time to walk up that ramp.
Yeah.
Every year.
Let's make it happen.
We're waiting.
So moved here in 10th grade from Chicago. Went to high school in Efrat. I mean, I was enlisted into high school in Efrat. Didn't go too often.
What about
I never let
language?
school get in the way of my education. I'm a
Love
big
that.
believer in that.
Love that.
Yonatan majored in basketball and baseball and football. He did very well.
Very
I mean,
important. I'm sure tons
straight
of
A's.
nachad.
It's
Straight
very,
A's
very
with that.
important.
A lot of pride.
Thank God I finished with a Tudat Bagrut.
Ah.
Yeah.
Tachlis, that's the most important
exactly,
thing. Which
exactly.
is the
Tachlis, I think
equivalent
you
to like
had,
a GED for those
Mrs.
Americans.
Yeah.
who was
Mrs. Rabin.
Mrs. Rabin, who was probably in her mid-80s at the time. Now she's probably about 99. But she would tutor him and got him through Bagriot.
Wow.
She
On
was
every
amazing.
subject, she was
How did
amazing.
that work in terms of language?
So I was unofficially allowed to bring her to my
To
my
Bagriot,
test, my
yeah.
Bagrut.
She did very well in the Bagriot.
She did very well.
With just putting
Whose
his
name was on it? You or her?
My name.
His name was on it, but she did well.
She did very well.
They're like, you were born in 1951? What?
Yonatan
She was actually in the
uses-
same class as Rev Nesson Finkel.
That's right.
And yeah, that's how we're talking old.
Wow.
Yonatan used his smile to get through high school.
He has a great smile.
That's how
Thank
it's
you.
always worked since
He has a radiance, that's for sure.
From my mother.
from your mother.
Compliments to Dad. Happy
Happy
Father's Day,
Happy
everyone.
Father's Day.
And that's the way we do it around
Yeah,
here.
exactly. And then I went to Hakotel. I did Hezra through Hakotel, served in Givati. Right when I purple, of course.
Your mother must have been so happy.
Of course.
So happy.
So those who aren't here,
Just for the record, his
yeah.
mother's favorite color is purple.
Everything's purple. Went to Givati, served in Givati, and then got married. Lived in Yerushalayim.
Wait, so when did she catch up? She came to seminary?
Oh yeah, seminary.
Where'd she go to seminary?
MMY.
MMY. Okay.
MMY. Stayed for 2 years.
Wow. So you had like
Yeah.
a 2-year gap.
3-year gap.
3-year gap.
10th, 11th, 12th.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Painful.
Spoke every day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute. I didn't know any of this. Okay, so when did you guys like make it official?
We'll make it official. Depends who you ask. I don't know.
When
We
did you
have
get married?
pictures. We married when we were 20.
When you were
We're young.
20.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right after the army.
Does that mean you're older than 20?
That means I'm 20 and a half.
Right. Okay. Because you can have a few kids in
Exactly.
a half a year. Why not?
Exactly.
Cool. Okay.
28 right now. And then moved to Yerushalayim, which was amazing. Living in Yerushalayim for our first year of marriage. I had a little electric bike. Back then, that wasn't a big thing. So me and my wife would just go through the shuk and do all of our shot. It was a lot of fun. Then we moved to Givat Shmuel, where my wife studied special ed at Bar Ilan.
You studied what exactly?
Exactly.
Basketball. Baseball.
I do have a degree.
He has a degree.
You?
Summa cum laude from Touro University, worldwide.
What was your roommates that
Exactly. I'm not
graduated
going to
well?
say who did it for
Okay.
me, but I do have a degree.
he did very well also?
Yeah,
In your name?
in my name.
Of course.
In his
In
name.
my name.
Okay.
Exactly. And that's that. Then actually, right when I moved to Givat Shmuel, my two friends of mine were trying to start NCSY in Israel. Those who are not familiar with NCSY, it's in America it's very different than Israel. In America it's more of outreach. In Israel, dealing with kids who are really not religious, but we're dealing more with kids who make aliyah and just get lost in the system here. And they reached out to me and said, Yonatan, we've been trying to start this. We've not had a lot of luck. How'd you survive Israel? How'd you make aliyah and end up normal? Like, what'd you do? What's your trick? So obviously my secret was having a girlfriend in America. But together with them, I joined and we started NCSY in Israel.
Who is we?
Me, Michael Kahn, and Yosef Ginsburg.
Mm-hmm.
Still going strong now. I'm not officially part of it, but they have 5 chapters now. It's a huge organization.
That's incredible.
Doing amazing things.
It's considered a branch of NCSY Israel?
And NCSY Israel is its own branch. And within Israel, we have 5 branches. Everywhere. Yeah.
Wow.
And they're
So you
really
were
inspiring the Jewish future in Israel.
Founder of that.
One of the founders.
That's very, very impressive. I'm learning so many things, and here I thought I knew him.
So that's how I officially got to Hatzalah.
Oh, so let's hear.
Because I joined NCSY officially as a fundraiser. I had no experience in fundraising. Just went to friends and family. Was able to raise some money, and then we were living back in Gvetchmuel. My wife was pregnant with twins then. She just gave birth to twins actually, and I saw a post on Facebook. It said, interested in becoming a medic? I said, I'm always interested in becoming a medic. Right?
Lifelong dream.
Right? Lifelong dream. I want to become a medic. And I got some more information. I saw that there was a course happening twice a week, 6 to 10 p.m. I had 3 little kids at home. I said, this is a perfect course for me.
Sorry, honey, can't do bath time tonight. Gotta go save lives.
Gotta go save lives. So it's for 6 months. I always want to do the course.
And Avia was like on board.
She's amazing. Yeah,
she is amazing.
She's amazing.
She is amazing.
Of course. So I actually reached out to my father. I said, Abba, let's do the course together.
He reached out to me because he needed somebody to pay for the course.
Ah.
It was an English course, so it cost money.
What's with your fundraising skills?
Exactly. That's the fundraising.
Nice.
Friends and family.
Brilliant.
So we did the course together.
That was an interesting course.
So I have to hear about this. So first of all, are you medically inclined at all? Like biology, science,
I work in the nursing home business. That's
no, before that, I mean, you also...
I work in the nursing home business. That's as close as I can.
I'd say before that, you ran an ambulance company back in the day.
Correct.
But so you did have affiliation.
Yeah, but I wasn't a medic or a EMT.
Did the medical world, was it interesting and intriguing, or was it like, oh God, that is not for me?
It was more of financial, I guess aspiration, so to say, with regard to, the nursing homes wasn't, because I wanted, I don't say take care of old people, but it was more, it was more financial.
No, so that part was business, but I'm saying to become a medic and to learn
it was more Yonatan, trying to twist my arm and let's go. This is a great opportunity. We'll go and.
No, but I think I didn't get this from you as well, where we never want to be in a situation where we feel helpless.
Right. Thank God we have a lot of kids around and
a lot of kids.
So it's always good to now, to know now looking back, and I actually I've used it on my own grandkids.
Yeah.
Many times.
I want to hear about that. Wait, so what year is this? Some context here.
2017.
2017 in Efrat?
The course was in Yerushalayim.
In Yerushalayim.
It was the first
Hebrew.
It was the first NREMT course.
Oh.
It was in English.
It was the first NREMT course. Okay, so Ari was the
Ari
teacher?
was not a teacher yet.
Who was the teacher?
Yechiel.
No,
Yechiel.
It was an Israeli guy who drove a motorcycle.
I forgot his name.
Okay, and so it was in English.
It was in English.
And you guys graduated as EMTs.
But you're missing the main story here.
Okay.
You're missing the main story. Do you want to see the story?
Which story are we talking about?
The story that made you Hatzalah famous.
The story. I think the tennis story you're talking about?
Yeah. I'll start with the context of the story, and then you can continue the story.
Yeah, sure.
First of all, let's just say that we're gonna post the movie that Yechiel
Oh God!
did.
Again, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, in the bottom, so you can go watch his incredible movie, and then you can see the story for real. But let's hear.
So my father missed the first 2 weeks of the course because he was in America in a business meeting. He comes back after 2 weeks, and the instructor
This was
tells
Wednesday.
the class.
This was
Wednesday. He's like, okay, everyone, in 10 minutes, we're having the test on CPR. My father looks at me. He's like, Yonatan, I haven't done a test in 25 years. I'm not starting now. Don't worry. I got you. So I told him I got him, and I taught him everything I knew about CPR in those 10 minutes. Thank God he passed. Now you can take over the rest part of the story.
That's it.
First of all,
That's
that's
all I
impressive on its own.
Yeah.
Not bad.
And
I
he
mean,
he showed me how to do compressions.
And what
and
happened?
some
What happened
basic
next?
stuff.
Following day,
So that was Wednesday night or Thursday night.
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night. No, it was Thursday night, I think. Friday morning, I went to play tennis because I used to play tennis, but I love playing tennis. And we were in the middle of playing, and I heard some commotion on another court.
So as a good American, he grabs his gun.
Right, because I thought it was because I heard, I thought it was, mechabel or something, so
terrorist.
meantime, I get to the tennis court, and there was a guy on the floor, and there were 4 or 5 guys trying to work CPR. It was like 4 guys with all their hands on his chest at the same time. So I said, okay, I just learned this. clear the way, and I started compressions.
Just from the 10 minutes that
from the 10
Yonatan taught
minutes,
you?
Yeah.
He asked for a defibrillator.
And one of the other guys, an instructor, he ran straight to get a defibrillator. I didn't know there was one there, and we were able to bring him back.
And you knew how to use the defibrillator?
Together, yeah. We literally had just learned it the night before.
And
So I
Mike,
was fresh.
The guy's name is Mike.
Mike.
So Mike woke up. His
Mike.
eyes
After
opened.
7 minutes and 40
Mike looked
seconds.
as purple as our house, which was, he was
Gone.
he was gone, and within about, I think he was down for about 4 minutes or so, but we were, the defibrillator got him back, and he told Mada came and everybody else came, but it was amazing. It was a great feeling to save. It was a real high.
The ambulance
so to
came
say.
after 7 minutes and 40 seconds. I think they had a camera at the tennis court.
They did. We have
yeah.
live footage of
right.
it.
And
Well, he did get him back, but
he was back
he
by
was,
the time the ambulance got there.
Yeah.
which says everything.
So I take full
Which-
credit because I taught my father CPR.
You should.
Like,
Absolutely.
100%. Exactly.
Absolutely.
First of all, it's an incredible story because it just shows 10 minutes of your life can save a life.
I don't know if you know if Mike's story. I'm not sure you have it on the video also, but he had told me that during those, I guess 3-4 minutes when he had we had checked out, so to say, he says he remembered that he was floating in the air, not above us, but in a most beautiful mountainous area with gorgeous flowers and everything, that it was just like in the clouds. I said, very cool. And and then he was back, so to say. He left that area. He told me that his granddaughter at the same time was in Agan, way up in the north. She had drawn a picture at the same time of beautiful mountains with flowers.
Of her grandfather.
And she didn't, not with the grandfather floating, but what the grandfather saw. And he says, this is exact what I saw.
Chills.
Yeah.
No, that is not in our movie.
No, that was pretty cool.
That's wild.
That was pretty cool.
And you guys stayed in touch.
We always stayed in touch, and I see him play tennis every so often.
It's incredible. I can't even imagine that feeling of I don't know. It's just wild.
It was wild.
It's a very, very incredible story. So you did finish the course though.
We finished
we
the course.
finished the course. We had I think we did private to get it done. We had Yechiel teach us.
To finish
and then
no, to
and
get
then
to the
we
Israeli
did-
certification.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And you're also American certified though, because then
We didn't
Never.
finish the American certification.
Uh-huh.
We didn't take the test. We finished the course and take the test. And we did private to finish the Israeli part of the course.
And you're both part of the chapter in Efrat.
Gush
How many
Etzion.
people are Gush Etzion,
Gush
sorry,
Etzion.
that's what I meant to say.
Mm-hmm.
How many people are we up? How many people are in the
Over
chapter
70
now?
medics in Gush Etzion.
Incredible.
The response time in Efrat or the Gush is, I think
3
it's
seconds.
it's like better than Yerushalayim, because every block has got
So
a
I've heard.
few.
But
And
not better than the Yesharim. That's the fastest.
that is true. That's the
Wow.
fastest.
Okay, that's incredible. And would you mind sharing with us of another story or two? You said you did something with your grandchild.
My daughter Shelby was over for either the meal or it was Shabbos and one of the kids, a baby, started to choke. So I just, grabbed the baby and gave that big shove from the back.
The Heimlich.
No, not the Heimlich, but it was the upward thrust, so to say, from the back, and came popping out, whatever.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, sat back down and continued to eat. It was just
Next course.
and pretty much. So that was,
Wow.
and then actually, so my daughter Shelby, I think got inspired by Yonatan and sort of myself, and
And she just finished the
she
course
just
as
finished
well.
the course as
No
well. Yeah.
way.
And my brother-in-law as well. Also
Some
finished the course at EMT, AJ.
AJ, and
Yeah.
also you have another brother-in-law, Via's brother, who finished
Yes,
the course.
exactly.
And where do these people live?
So my daughter lives in Neria, and she's actually the first. Is she the only Hatzalah member?
No,
out
they
there?
have a cell
They
there.
have Hatzalah out there. But she's looking forward to because she's also carries a gun, so she's not scared to go to the shtachim and go to respond, and so it's gonna be very
my
cool.
next movie is gonna have to be on her.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Good, we had that conversation. Women's Initiative.
Mother's Day next year.
Mother's Day. There we go. Wow, that's incredible. Yonatan, do you have a story you can share with us of something that really just?
I mean, family related. There's plenty of stories. As I spoke to my father this morning, how last night I was thinking about it. We've been to 5 CPRs together. We did one together a couple weeks ago. There's one in Efrat we did a CPR together. Yeah, 3 weeks ago. But one of them we brought the person back to life. So I'd say 20% save rate is pretty good.
Like you just both showed up on the call?
No, so when we're on free time, the last one,
The last one was I just dropped off my son at Orad Zion right up the street here, and I got a call, for non-responsive patient at the shul literally down the street. So I was there within I think 30 seconds. Not even. It was just like we just hung up the phone. And then when I got there, there was somebody from the shul. There was a guy who had a heart attack. He was in his tallis and tefillin.
Oh my goodness.
And just began CPR and waited for more help to come. We worked on him for quite a while, but the son was right there davening also with him, and he really did not want to. He had a DNR and did not want his father to go through intubation and all that stuff that sort of goes with it. And so he left peacefully with his tallis and tefillin on, so to say. But
he had a DNR because he was sick.
Because he was he's an older, and that's what I think his request was, not to be put into a situation where he could be sitting in a hospital bed or nursing home with tubes and ventilators and all that stuff.
But the family mentioned it was very comforting that Hatzalah was there within seconds.
We were there.
Wow.
And we were able to work him. We did everything we can to obviously to try to bring him back, but it was very comforting for the family to say they tried. I mean, they were there. They're there quickly, and that was definitely helpful for the family.
Yeah.
So how does that work in terms of if the person has DNR? First of all, how do you know? Is it like a bracelet?
They'll tell you. They'll tell you.
Well,
not them, but either a caretaker will tell you, or.
And then what's the protocol? You don't.
So you can do basically CPR, but you cannot intubate or. I think they try with some meds, to get the heart, with adrenaline to get
Could
the
you
heart going
not
again.
use a defibrillator?
So we tried with the defibrillator. It didn't call for a shock, which means that his heart was not in defib. It was already had stopped.
Mm-hmm.
But we tried for about 25-30 minutes. We kept working on him. But it was actually I sort of, my father-in-law, God willing, should live and be well. But I was thinking about the situation. He has a DNR himself. I carry it with me in my wallet.
Is he here in Israel?
He's in Israel, lives in Rechavia, and he's a frequent Hatzalah member, frequent flyer for
frequent
Hatzalah,
flyer,
because he has his episodes of fainting here and there. But so whenever you do CPR, most of the times, I think all the times, you break the ribs when you could do the compressions, and so just thinking about that whole situation, like God forbid me for my father-in-law would have to go through this.
It puts things in perspective.
Very
it's not always so black and white.
No.
Wow. Do we have another story that maybe?
Yeah, a bit more exciting. Yeah, I mean, another choking story. Just my father mentioned a choking story. Actually, I work now at Hatzalah. Work with you.
Do?
You do?
What days do you work there?
I mean, occasionally.
Once a month between 2 and 3 p.m.
No, that's too late. That's traffic time.
True.
I work in the fundraising department with Shai.
Shout out to Shai
shout out
Jasko.
Yeah, he's the best. But I'm always giving tours to people, different donors, and I tell everyone it doesn't matter if you're a plumber or if you're a businessman or a lawyer. Everyone should know how to save a life. 'Cause you never know what's going to happen. You'll never know when something's going to happen. So 2 years ago, Pesach, I was in Chicago, and my sister-in-law was eating some pastrami before Shabbos. Again, 20-year-old, some yummy pastrami, Romanian pastrami. And all of a sudden she starts choking, and me and my brother-in-law, we thought she was joking, and all of a sudden she's giving the whole symbol. She's actually choking. I get behind her, and on the second thrust, in the Heimlich maneuver, I got it out.
Did you eat the Romanian pastrami after
Exactly.
this?
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Um,
Edit that out. I'm just kidding.
I only say that because Romanian pastrami
It's
is
the best.
the best.
Oh.
Chicago
the only reason.
pastrami is the best. But I mean, I always tell a story to everyone because, again, a 20-year-old healthy girl chokes.
Yeah, you don't think
you
of
don't think about
that.
it, but it happens. It can happen to anyone at any time. So it doesn't matter what profession you're in. Everyone should know how to save a life.
So let me ask you a question. This is
Yeah.
Chicago. This is not Israel. This is
Exactly.
not United Hatzalah. If, God forbid, you weren't there or you weren't trained as a medic, what would have happened? They would have called the local Chicago Hatzalah.
I don't want to know.
I want to know.
I'm saying I want you to call the local Chicago Hatzalah.
How long do you think it would take to get there?
I'm sure they would have gotten there fast. I don't know the Chicago Hatzalah. I know how it works there.
But an average response time of an ambulance in a local Jewish community is?
They have Hatzalah now recently, within the last few years. But before it would be the 911 call, and you know, from the fire station to get there, which would take. They don't leave ambulances throughout the community.
10 minutes?
It
At
could be
least.
up to 10 minutes,
Then
yeah.
she would have, God
It
forbid,
could be,
chas
yeah.
v'chalila. I can't even think about it. So the whole concept of what United Hatzalah is that
Community-based emergency response.
you sound like you actually
I
were trained in
actually
this.
exactly
Do you actually
that
do this for a
within
living?
within every single community in Israel, every kibbutz, every yeshuv, every city, you'll have a volunteer EMT who's ready to stop what he's doing, stop what she's doing, and respond and save a life. Because what matters most to people is your family and your close friends. So if God forbid my neighbor's choking, my neighbor's having heart pain, my neighbor's having a seizure, I mean, I want to know to be able to help that person out. There's recently a call within my community where a 2-year-old started seizing in Gan. I was there within 30 seconds. This is in the morning, about 10 a.m. I was in within 30 seconds. My brother-in-law was there right behind me a couple seconds later. And we were dealing with this kid, this 2-year-old who was seizing. When the ambulance showed up without a team. Ahmad ambulance showed up without a team.
What does that even mean?
Only the driver came. And we couldn't wait for his team to show up or even the parents to come because the kid was still seizing for 46 minutes. So I just took the kid in my arms and I went inside the ambulance and I transported with the kid in my hands all the way to the hospital. The kid was in the hospital for many weeks, but
The parents met you at the hospital.
parents went to the hospital. It was a very serious seizure, hospital for many weeks, and a lot of work still needs to be done. But I definitely believe the quick response time and get him to the hospital quickly saved his life.
That's really chills again. I don't even know. I had, this is many, many years ago, but a friend of mine, a neighbor, we were living in Achot, and she had a baby, and she had a gun in her house. And I said, you know, this is crazy. You need to have quiet for at least 2 weeks. I'm not really home during the day. I didn't have kids yet. I said, use my apartment for your gun. So she moved her gun into my apartment for, I think, 2-3 weeks. And I was running out of the house. And as I'm leaving my house, I kind of on the side of my eye just see this kid doing something weird. And I noticed this kid was having a seizure. It was like a little baby having a seizure. And just to think, like, this is in 2008. Like, I don't even know like, it was so scary because no one knew what to do. We called an ambulance. We didn't, like, there was no concept of 1221 then, you know? Like, I didn't even know to call. I didn't think I knew what United Hatzalah was. It was 2 years old. The organization was still a baby. And it was just those minutes of waiting for the ambulance. I will never, ever forget those minutes. So scary. So that's really wild. So let's talk about transportation for a second. So I hear you both ride ambucycles.
I don't ride an ambulance.
Just kidding. So you have a regular car and keep your equipment in the back of your car?
In the back of the car and in the house, depending
Okay.
on, you know, when my father-in-law's here. I usually keep it in the house.
In the house. Okay.
Yeah.
So you always have it nearby.
Right.
And your vest
in
nearby.
the car. The vest is in the car.
In the car. Okay. And so your mode of transportation is your car.
In the car.
Okay.
Right.
And does your wife allow you to ride an ambucycle? Is that an ambition of yours?
Never. She'll never let me get on an ambulance on a motorcycle.
I totally
sure
get that. And you, fancy show-off man with a car, a Hatzalah car,
Whipping
branded
around the town.
car,
Ambu car.
Ambu car. Let's hear the story. How did you get your hands on that wheel?
Somebody
Needed it for
donated.
work. Yeah, I got someone to donate it, obviously. It was a need in the gush. An ambucycle is not so, I would say, needed in the gush
Because you can get through the traffic. It's not a
because there's not so much traffic happening here within Efrat. But if you go throughout Efrat, everyone will tell you that most emergencies, I'm one of the first ones on the scene. Especially where I live next to the Highway 60. There is so many car accidents happening there. So many car accidents. And I'm the closest person between us and Yerushalayim to Highway 60.
Right. Where
So-
you're situated in Efrat, just to for people to understand, it's the closest part. In Efrat, it's the closest community to the highway.
Exactly. So that 7-8 kilometers of highway is a very dangerous highway.
It's a good thing you don't go to work, to the
Exactly.
office. This is
Or
wrong.
This is work.
Or I'll wait to go to work when there's an accident. I can skip all the traffic.
As soon as he gets into his car, he's like, I hope there's something in the tunnels or something I can just get through these this
Smart.
traffic.
Yeah.
Using the system.
Exactly.
he's such-
Never.
Yonatan is one of a kind.
Trying to save lives.
Of course, always.
But
Only.
but it's part of my work because many times I'll go to a meeting and I'll spend some time within that neighborhood and that community, and I'll respond to a call, and then when I'll go into the meeting with the potential donor, I'll be like, 5 minutes ago I was just down the block and someone had some sort of condition. I was able to help that person out, and this is why we need a quicker response time within your neighborhood, and help out with my fundraising pitch.
There's a two-sided mission here. So, okay, we live in Efrat. I mean, I don't live in Efrat. I live in the Gush. We're not going to say where in the Gush, but we all live in the Gush. And for those who are not familiar, Gush Etzion is very much neighboring and shoulder to shoulder to our lovely neighbors and friends sometimes and sometimes not. But we live next to Beit Lechem, and we live near Hebron.
Cousins.
So cousins, that's a good way to say it. And if you drive down this highway that Yonatan was just talking about, you'll see a mix of yellow license plates and white license plates. And the white license plates are Palestinians. And so there's a big mix in the supermarket, and you just have that feeling. So let's talk for a second about that, because we know that they have their own ambulance system called the Red Crescent. But I've heard many stories of them coming to the entrance, the gate, in order to get our services. So
This week.
Okay, so can you tell
Happened
us a
this week.
little bit
It
about that?
happens almost weekly.
Almost every other day.
Yeah, the response time within their cities is very slow. I would even say that almost majority of the calls, not majority, but a good percentage of the calls I respond to are actually Palestinians because of the car crashes that are happening. Actually, this week, I was in Rami Levy. I was getting cheese.
That's the local supermarket.
Exactly.
Where we
in the
share our cousins, and we all shop together.
Yeah, we all shop together. And the guy who's giving me the cheese, a Palestinian, he saw my walkie-talkie and he says, "What is that? I've seen you guys around." And I was explaining to him exactly what United Hatzalah is. He says he wished he had that within Beit Lechem because it's such an easy concept. He said it's such a shame, and it's just a wasted opportunity not to have this within the neighborhood, because he sees my car, he sees some of the ambulance cycles drive around saving lives, and he wished they're able to have it in their communities. But there's I would say weekly the Palestinians would come to the gate of Efrat. Again, obviously this will never make the news, because why should this make the news? Right. Of them coming to Efrat. There's been successful CPRs happening at the gates of Efrat.
Birthings.
Yeah, where our EMTs will get there quickly, come to the gates, treat the patient until the ambulance shows up, which would take a very long time.
So I want to just give some context for people who don't necessarily know the ins and outs. So basically, a lot of these locations, which are called Section A, Israelis are not allowed into these neighborhoods. So in order for them to get our help, they have to come out of their neighborhoods into our quote-unquote territory. That's the wrong word. That was not PC. Definitely. That's the third thing we're going to edit out. No, I'm kidding. You can leave it in. But so first of all, I just want to say really clearly that we never, ever, ever think twice, right? Ever.
Never turn down a call.
So you want to talk about that? Like, what does that mean? Like, here we are, like, yesterday there was a pigua. I'm not saying yesterday like now, but like in your head, you're like, okay, yesterday there was a terrorist attack, and today I'm treating a Palestinian from Beit Lechem.
We get a call or, through the radio or through the pager system, the beep, so to say, and through WhatsApp chats, which are a bunch of them for the different konanim here in the Gush, the different EMTs and paramedics. And it doesn't, you get a call, it just says accident on the 60. It doesn't say Palestinians, the Jews, it's just you go. So, as soon as we get there, whatever it is, we treat no matter what till we get more help.
Last Friday night on Shabbat, call came in of on Shavuot. Call came in of a serious car accident on the 60. The chance of it being a Jew, very slim on Shavuot. But obviously I went the first one on the scene. and we're treating 2 Palestinians, and one of them was seriously wounded. And we were saving him and getting him to the hospital. But again, you don't think twice because that's,
human life is human life.
Human life is human life.
That's the way we look at it.
It's a Kiddush Hashem also.
Absolutely. And again, this never makes the news. Like halavai, I wish that these were the stories that were being broadcasted.
And it comes with great kombinas because I responded to an accident one time, and one of the guys by the entrance of Efrat has a tire shop, and it was his brother. So now he gives me great deals on tires.
You keep talking about the advantages.
Exactly.
Yonatan always has an angle.
Wow, it's unique because not everyone is in that kind of a community where that's their circumstance. So it's definitely unique about living in the gush.
We're lucky.
For sure.
It's a beautiful way to say it. So father and son, how is this, is this made you closer? I'm sure you guys were incredibly close before, but is this experience of being medics together, taking the course together, going on calls together, has that really brought you maybe closer?
Yonatan has always been a mama's boy.
100%.
He gets anything he wants from his mother. I sort of was introduced to him probably at what age?
18,
19, pretty much. Or maybe if you need me for baseball, to throw a baseball when you're younger. But yeah, we definitely have gotten closer. We went to, every so often we'd go trolling in Yerushalayim in his car, for calls, and he's always, calling me, Abba, let's do a shift. There's an open shift. Now you become an ambulance driver. He's always, trying to get me to come. So, it definitely gotten us closer, and we have time to spend together. Yonatan's always looking for somebody to pay for cholent on Thursdays, and the herring. But it's great times, great stuff.
And I'm curious for your other kids, can I ask what the age range is?
So from 12 till 31.
8 girls, 3 boys.
8 girls, 3 boys.
Wow. And do these kids, your kids, are they looking at their dad and their brother and their sister?
They always encourage. They say they see me running, with grabbing my bag, and they're just like always, encouraging everything. They're always asking, what happened, So they're definitely in tune to what's going on. We have one of my daughters is highly allergic to rabbits. She's one of the only ones in the world who is airborne allergic to rabbit. Where she's anaphylactic, where her throat closed up. She's done already a good 17 EpiPens so far in the last 3 years.
Goodness.
I've injected some of them.
You've done some of them,
Yeah.
and I've done some of them, and it's so we're definitely everybody's in tune to what's to emergencies and stuff like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 10 years
they'll all
be EMTs at United Hatzalah.
That's what I was gonna say.
Every single one,
for sure.
You'll be the biggest family in United Hatzalah.
We might have to change the vest to orange.
The purple.
The purple.
The purple, yeah, from orange to purple.
They'll have their own sneef, their own chapter.
Exactly.
Purple branding. Wow. And in terms of just the adjustment of moving to Israel, it's already been quite a few years, but do you see what if you had stayed in Chicago? Do you think you ever would have gotten involved in something like this?
Never would have gotten involved.
He says that, but he was very, very involved with all chesed in Chicago.
I'm sure.
Yeah, but I don't know if I would have been on the ambulance. I was part of the Chevra Kadisha, so I was,
oh wow,
had the other part of it. But thank God it was. I always when the people ask me, why did we make Aliyah? I was, but you had America is great. America is easy. You had a wonderful life there, and the cars, the house, all the stuff. But
to quote Ari Folds,
it was just not.
Hashem
It was not real. It's all, for me, it felt like it was all fake. Yeah, so to say.
To quote Ari Fold, if life's easy, you're doing it wrong.
Right. I always had somebody told me this. In America, life passes you by. In Israel, you live life. So just coming here, and I wanted to change the future generations. In America, it would have never happened. If we would have stayed, past that. When all the kids started already, college and yeshiva and stuff like that, we would never come because they would have settled there, gotten married there, and so on and so forth.
Don't forget, he also has 11 kids, so 11 Jewish tuitions. You had to get out of there.
They were really sorry to see us. They were really sorry to see us go, but I think they've had other kids, other families that have stepped up and
followed.
That have not followed us, but have followed, paying the big tuition bills.
Oh.
So because we were at that time easy, paying 6 figures and tuitions.
Wow. I think that honestly, I think it's so special when I meet families that it has that like spiral effect, domino effect, I should say, where it's like, oh, the father, then the son, then the next son, the daughter-in-law. Like there are families that have like 10, 12 people. And I think that it's really incredible because it really isn't for everyone. And I think I'm just talking for my own self. Like Ellie always makes fun of me. Ellie Beer, like, when are you going to be a medic? I'm like, never, Ellie. We've discussed this many times. Never, ever. But and I've been with the organization for 7 years, but I'm actually sitting here going like, ooh, like maybe I should. You know, I know that I have a fear, and I grew up in intense medical trauma, so that's always been like my excuse and my like, you know, exit stage left why I don't need to do this. But you made some really, really good points, and I'm like,
if you have children, God willing, or I don't know if you have or not, but
thank God I do.
Always
Absolutely.
you need to know what to do. Just the basic choking.
Right, exactly. So you got me thinking. So good job, guys. So we want to wish everyone a happy Father's Day, to every single father out there, and especially to every father who is a medic in Israel, because it's not easy playing that dual role, as you both can testify, being a husband and a father and a medic, and then having your other job and all the other things in life that requires. I'm sure it's a lot of juggling.
For sure, and that's where we have to thank our wives. Thank you, Avia.
For sure. Thank you, Yael.
Absolutely. But we all know that the wives are behind us.
Of course.
So a big shout out to every man and their wife out there who knows how to balance that really difficult. I don't know. I can't imagine. Like, how do you just juggle all those balls? It's like, that's really hard.
Don't let them fall.
Yeah.
Just make it keep going.
It's incredible. So kol hakavod, you guys. We're keeping this episode short today, but we're so grateful that you took the time to sit with us. Thank you for sharing your stories with us.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Abba.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much for listening to the United Humans podcast.
Share this with a friend, subscribe, and we already know you're going to leave us a positive review, so we'll just thank you now for that.
Bye.
Adios.